Welcome to the 23rd week of this year's and Times Like These recap. Now, let's get into this. Starting with Dr. Terry Burke, who is in her office as her younger lover, Alan Russo, enters in. She tries telling Alan that they can't continue having an affair since the two of them have a reputation. Terry also reminds him of the consequences which could occur if someone found out about them. Despite that, Alan is still eager to continue the affair, seducing Terry once again. Max Russo meets up with Vanessa Dorval at the high school, discussing their plans for summer vacation. As the two friends discuss the upcoming break, Vanessa receives another text from her stalker, unaware that it's Keeve Burke. He notices how concerned she looks, but she tells Max to leave it alone as soon as he asks Vanessa what's bothering her. Just as Zeke Franklin is watching X-rated videos on his phone, his girlfriend Nichelle Torres walks up to him. He covers up what he's doing, telling Nichelle that he agreed to take part in the HVAC program the following school year. Even though Nichelle tells her boyfriend how proud she is of him, he feels like he doesn't deserve her support. Nichelle responds by reminding Zeke that she forgave him and that they can move forward together. Zeke wonders how Nichelle would react if he messes up again. She tells Zeke not to be unfaithful and to be truthful, kissing him, then walking off as he continues to watch X-rated videos. Heidi Russo shows up at Quinlan Franklin's job at Global News Press, telling her that she won't succeed in turning Ben against her. Quinlan tries to make it clear that she's not trying to turn Ben against the family, but Heidi doesn't believe it after Ben confronted her. Even though Quinlan tries to make it clear that she didn't want Ben to confront Heidi, it still doesn't convince Heidi that Quinlan is genuine. Since it's clear that Heidi won't be convinced, Quinlan advises Heidi to let her get back to work. Heidi tells Quinlan to do that and to prepare for her to make her life a living nightmare. She goes on to threaten to throw Quinlan's younger brother Zeke in prison if he goes back to doing illegal activity, which angers Quinlan. Pacho Torres walks in, kicking Heidi out of the building. When Heidi walks off, she tells herself that Pacho coming to Quinlan's rescue is something she could use against Quinlan. Quinlan is on the phone with Ben about how annoyed she is about being unsure when Pacho will allow her to progress in her career. Ben encourages Quinlan to be patient, then asks her if anything else crazy happened. Before Quinlan has a chance to answer, she sees Zeke's phone on the couch and receives a notification about a new X-rated video to watch. When Zeke enters the room, she confronts her younger brother about it. He tries brushing it off, but Quinlan doesn't let it go, warning Zeke that his behavior could cost him Nichelle for good. When Isidore arrives at the Russo estate, Clarice asks her son to let Vivian go. Clarice goes on to tell Isidore that she feels like Vivian is a threat to their family, but Isidore doesn't see it. Things get more heated as Lorenzo walks into the room in disbelief of his wife's request. At Owen's apartment, Wanda invites him to her Juneteenth event at Theodosius's palace. He's reluctant at first, since he's aware that Udell and Yvette will be present, but Wanda convinces him to attend. Udell checks up on his daughter, who tells him that Wanda is oblivious to the fact that her friendship with Owen will land her in prison. He reminds his daughter that he and Wanda are fighting hard to keep her from prison and that Heidi isn't pursuing charges against her. Even thought that's true. Yvette points out that if Wanda and Owen grow closer, Wanda could let it slip that she lied about Max the entire time. Even though Udell tells his daughter that Wanda would never let that happen, Yvette is certain that Wanda would do it unintentionally and Owen would feel deceived. Udell explains to his daughter that she can't live her life thinking of the worst-case scenarios. Yvette questions if that's how he's living, since he doesn't seem to like Owen. Despite Udell having a bad feeling about Owen, he tells Yvette that he's not threatened by the ADA. Yvette wonders if Udell should feel threatened, since Wanda questions if he really loves her. She reminds her father that if Elvira Russo were still alive, then he most likely wouldn't have married Wanda. The response which Udell gives is that he did marry Wanda and plans to stay married to her. Yvette worries that Owen will use Udell's love for Elvira against the both of them, pleading with her dad not to let Owen sweep Wanda off of her feet. When Wanda arrives at the Mitchell estate, Udell tells Wanda that he had to assure their daughter that she wouldn't end up in prison for lying to the police. Udell wonders what Owen would feel if she accidentally lets it slip that Yvette lied, telling Wanda that there's a chance Owen might feel like Wanda was only friends with him to stop him from digging. Wanda is adamant that she would never be that reckless, and Udell becomes even more upset with his wife when she tells him that she invited Owen to the Juneteenth event. Heidi arrives at Ben's condo, then asks her son if he's aware that Pacho is the new CEO of GNP. Annoyed, Ben informs his mother that Quinlan told him. Then she goes on to question if that worries him. Ben states that Pacho being Quinlan's boss doesn't bother him one bit. She questions why, since Pacho is the son of Devante Torres, insinuating that Pacho could seduce his employees, like Quinlan. Ben is also surprised to hear that Heidi confronted Quinlan at Global News Press. Since Pacho was the one who came to Quinlan's rescue, Heidi suggests that might be why Quinlan didn't say anything. Ben tells Heidi to leave, which she does, feeling victorious. Once Isidore is gone, Lorenzo is baffled to hear that Clarice would want to negatively affect Vivian's future. Lorenzo tries to assure his wife that Vivian can be trusted. Clarice tells Lorenzo that trusting certain people has gotten him in trouble before. Confused, Lorenzo goes on to ask Clarice what she's talking about. She tells Lorenzo to forget it. Then he begins to ask if she's referring to Devante Torres. Clarice denies it. Then Lorenzo asks Clarice to make her point clear. She feels like the only point she needs to make clear is that Vivian isn't who she says she is and needs to leave the company. Lorenzo refuses, telling Clarice that if her gut feeling was so reliable, then she would have sensed Devante was evil, keeping him from Elvira and keeping their daughter alive. Pacho arrives and sees Vivian having food, asking what it's for. She tells Pacho that it's to celebrate him being CEO and celebrating her plan of becoming CEO of Russo Jewelers in the future. Vivian also tells her newfound ally that she'll be turning the Russos against Clarice and take her shares when she's most vulnerable. Ben calls Quinlan, informing her that his mother stopped by the other day and asks why she didn't tell him that Heidi confronted her at GNP. Quinlan tells Ben that she didn't want to cause any more issues between him and his mother. Even though Ben states that he understands, he tells his girlfriend that he'll have to trust her and prove to others that she can be trusted. To ensure that she's telling the truth, he asks Quinlan what made Heidi leave, already knowing that Pacho kicked Heidi out. Quinlan confirms this, unaware that her boyfriend already knew. Finnegan walks into Terry's office, informing his ex-wife that he plans to ask Harley to move in with him. Terry is unbothered by this, telling Finnegan to leave. Once he's gone, it's clear for Alan to enter the living room, revealing that he spent the night with his older lover. At the high school, JJ Dorval and Yulissa Torres discuss their summer plans as Yvette approaches them. Yvette tells JJ that since the school year is almost over, she wants to leave on a good note between them. Offended, Yulissa tells Yvette that she should also be making amends with Max, since she lied on him. Yvette tells Yulissa that she and Max have already made peace. This causes JJ to ask Yvette if she admitted to Max that she lied and agreed to clear his name. JJ tells Yvette that it's best that they keep their distance, since he can't befriend anyone he can't trust. Vanessa approaches Max, telling him that she would like to apologize for her behavior the other day. Max easily forgives her, then receives another text from her stalker, unaware that it's Kiev Burke. Frustrated, Vanessa texts back, telling the stalker to leave her alone and that she doesn't want him. Kiev replies back with an angry text. When Max asks Vanessa if she's okay, she asks her friend to pray for her. Infuriated by the rejection, Kiwi feels like Vanessa should be ashamed of herself for rejecting his advances. Can't get enough of the crazy world of In Times Like These? Then treat yourself to a binge watch of In Times Like These. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You're not ready for what's to come, but tune in anyway.